Hi book besties and welcome back to my channel. I am flustered. Like, I have had the shittest day, like a good start and then a shit end. It's just, I'm fuming guys, the amount of crap that's happened to me today. But anyway, it is time for an August read and wrap up. It is the last day of August today, filming this on the Sunday. I am currently reading this book, which I'll pop up here, which is Chasing Forever by Piper Rain, which is an arc. I don't think I will finish this by today because I'm not very far in. I think I'm only like 15%. If I get it finished, I will do a wrap up in September though, because yeah, obviously I'm not finished yet. I'm a bit unsure about it just yet, but we will see. So any Kindle reads I'm going to pop up here. Usually I find them on my Kindle and hold them up, but I'm just going to pop up here. I'm absolutely sweating my tits off, so I'm going to do the quickest August wrap up I think I've ever done. I've also got an iced white mocha because I hate coffee guys, but I'm trying to like coffee, and I got one last week and I only got one shot of coffee, blonde roast, with an extra white chocolate syrup, and I'm hoping that was quite nice. So I'm trying to be converted. So I've got the same again, don't want to differentiate if I found something I like, and we're gonna see. Hopefully this can give me a bit of energy as well because I'm tired. So make sure you grab a drink or grab a snack and get cozy because we are going to wrap it up. So the first book that we read is a fucking hefty book, probably the biggest I've read in the month I think, but this is Zodiac Academy Shadow Princess, which is book 4 in the series. This was a 5-star, like absolutely 5-star. This broke me. Like, I was sobbing at the end of it, like, and I just, oh my god, my feels, like I can't even cope. It was so bad but so good at the same time, like a good broken. I tabbed literally so much, but we've now taken a little break because Sophia Buddy Read With is not going to be reading. She's got her holiday reads, so hopefully we can continue the series in September. But for now we were both absolutely distraught that we just had to take a little bit step back, and also the books get bigger and bigger. Like, this is a hefty book guys, but if you haven't read Zodiac Academy, it's a very big world, but be prepared to be broken. Then we did Where We Bloom by Kristen Proby. This was a 5-star read. This was actually an arc. It's interconnected standalone, so I haven't read the other books, but this book, like, this is an Irishman first of all. Absolutely, I adore an Irishman. Like, I am a 5th Irish as well guys, you know. But this was the sweetest MMC like I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I went in completely blind, not really expecting much, but this man was so attentive, and he's just basically, at the start they have like a one-night stand. Turns out he's her best friend's brother, even, yeah, her best friend's brother, so she sees him a lot more and they're sort of like fighting this attraction. Obviously she really likes him, he's sort of like taking a step back, and yeah, it just sort of unravels from there. But when I tell you, this man is the sweetest thing. Like, if they went away somewhere and he filled all the bathroom with all of like every single makeup that she wears, every like skincare product and stuff, and it wasn't like cheap stuff either. He's a billionaire, but you know. They went in for a picnic and she said, oh, have you got any water? And he said, oh yeah, there's some in the cooler box. She got it out and she was like, like turned her nose up, and he's like, what? She's like, don't know nothing. And he's like, no, what? Tell me. And she's like, oh, it's just not my favourite like kind of water, but like, that's okay. And he was like, he's laughing. They stopped at the gas station to get gas and or petrol or diesel, whatever you want to call it, fuel. And he goes in and he comes out with like 20 bottles of water, and she's like, what the hell? And he said, well, I didn't know which one you like, so I got them all. And he, oh, so sweet. Then we did Break Your Pucking Heart and Bend the Pucking Rules by Rachel Lee. The second one was an arc, so, and I hadn't read the first one, but it ends on a cliffhanger, so you need to read them in order. So I read the first and then I read the second. They were both a 3-star for me. The writing style wasn't a masterpiece, like it wasn't great, but the actual story and plot itself, I couldn't put the book down because I just needed to know what happened next. But I was absolutely hooked. It's a why choose as well, by the way guys. Sort of like an enemies to lovers, like a bully type one kind of. It's like Secret Society, and the next book doesn't come out until January, and they all end on cliffhangers as well. I think it says in the like blurb, like on Goodreads, that it's not like there's a happy ending, but it's not until the 3rd book, or maybe that's another book I'm thinking of. But anyway, 2 cliffhangers in a row, and now I need to read the 3rd book because obviously now I'm hooked. Then we read Rolling 75 by Brandy Hines. This was another arc. This one I only rated 3-star. Riker, who is the MMC, is the foundation for being obsessed with this woman. Like, I'm talking obsessed, like has been obsessing over her for like 20 years, like takes obsession to the next level. It is insane. Like, there's nothing in the world he absolutely wouldn't do for her. And the mouth on him, like the filthy mouth. I did find this very, very, very slow to get into. I was actually prepared to DNF it, because the first chapters, they're going through like their jobs and their worlds, and it's very, very confusing, but also very, very boring and political almost. So I decided to give it a chance, and I kept reading, and I loved the way that he was obsessed with her, and I needed to know what happened next. So I had an okay-ish time, but not like the best time, and I wouldn't like rush to recommend it, unfortunately, but that is just my opinion. Then was another arc, but I did buy the trophy because I liked the book so much. We've got Mountain Daddy by S.J. Tilley. I became obsessed with this. Like, me and Sophie buddy read this because she got the arc as well, and we're definitely going to go back and read the first book, which I think is Mountain Man, I want to say, and then the next book comes out, which is Mountain Grunting, which I cannot wait for. These are interconnected standalones, and this is clearly like an age gap, and it's also Dad's best friend as well. What starts as like a one-night stand turns into, obviously they find out that he's her dad's best friend, and yeah, it all goes from there. The spice scenes were spicing, loved it. There wasn't enough spice. Like, this, I rated a 4.5 star because it was just lacking. Like, I thought there was going to be so much more spice, but there wasn't, which is okay. But then the ending, I felt like was a little bit rushed. It just felt like it just went like really, really quickly like that. So that sort of brought it down to 4.5. I think if they'd spent a bit more time on that ending, it would have brought up to 5, or even if they had more spice, like vice versa, one or the other, it probably would have brought up to 5 star. But I loved it regardless. And like I said, I obviously bought the trophy. The chapters are very, very short also. There's like 170 odd chapters, I think, but some of the chapters are extremely short. Like, let me try and find. That's one chapter. So it's like, it's really, really easy read. And if you love an age gap, this is for you. Then I did another arc, which is, I bought the trophy, Almost Ravished by Abby Millsaps. This was 5 star. This is a why choose. It ends on a cliffhanger, like a major cliffhanger, guys. And I cannot wait for the second book. I am like literally frothing at the mouth for it. Like, I need this like yesterday. But this was amazing. Like I said, it's a why choose. So you've got a professor relationship, a bee daddy, if you know, you know. And then also you've got which obviously if you read the book it makes sense, but you've got a sort of like foster brother / first love type thing as well. But this was amazing. If you love a why choose, then it's definitely for you. If you don't, then I would say this is probably not going to be for you. But the spice was spicing too, and it was just fucking hot, guys. And the actual plot I really, really enjoyed. Then we went on to a thriller, so we went to The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This was only a 3 star. I did not see the plot twist coming. Like, the plot twist was top tier, but I'm just not in my thriller era right now. I think I'm just in my romantic era, and I think that's why it was only a 3 star for me. But if you enjoy thrillers, I would definitely recommend this. Basically it's about a housemaid that, well, she gets a job as a housemaid, like a live-in housemaid, and the like woman that has hired her, so the wife, is like very, very unhinged. Like, there's clearly something wrong with her, and it goes through that, but obviously there's twists and turns, and everything is not as it seems. And yeah, obviously I can't really say much without spoiling it for you, but yeah, definitely if you love a thriller, I would say I highly recommend. Then we can continue the Legacy of God series with God of Pain by Rena Kent. This was a 4 star for me. I absolutely ate this up. I really enjoy reading about Creighton and Annika's story, although it's not my most anticipated one. The nickname just wasn't giving, but it did grow on me. I learnt to love it in the end. Not love it, but like tolerate it, I suppose would be a better word. Creighton is possessive, and yeah, just the right kind of man. We all love an unhinged man. I think if you definitely read your trigger warnings for this, if you're not into like pain, sexually type thing, like reading, not into it, but like reading about it, I would definitely say this might not be for you, because it's very much like that is the encounters, obviously like by the name, which I think is why it wasn't a 5-star for me, because I was like, sometimes I was a bit like, oh, that might be a little bit too much. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying this series, and I cannot wait to continue. Then we had Crash by Kathy Lockhart. I actually ended up DNFing this at 65%. I was really into the story to start with, and then it just felt a bit flat. So basically the FMC has some medical issues. We don't really know what's going on with her. She's tried to find answers for the past year. She cannot find answers. She doesn't know what's wrong with her, what's going on. The MMC is her brother's best friend, who is a doctor, and he decides to make it his mission to basically help her. They've both pined over each other for years, and it sort of goes from there. I just got really bored at 65. Well, that's why I got to 65%. I just felt like I just wasn't really enjoying myself, so that's why I decided to put it down. I did do a little like skim just to kind of find out what went on, as I skimmed about till 80%, but then I just couldn't do any more. That makes sense, but unfortunately it just wasn't for me. Then we did a nice little novella. So we had Zodiac Academy, Origins of an Academy Bully. This was a 3-star. I felt, because it's so short, I didn't really feel like I could give it more, because of, and I'm gonna be hypocritical in a second and you'll understand why, but yeah, it was just like a little understanding. It was cute. Like, I don't know if that's the right word to use it for this story, but we got a little bit of insight to how the guardianship started between Lance and Darius, and also what happened the night of what happened with Clara, without giving any spoilers. And the Mildred scene absolutely made me die, so I did have a little giggle in this. But yeah, it was just like a short read, just to understand really events that had happened prior to the Zodiac Academy books. Then, okay, this is why I'm going to be hypocritical. Then we had a little novella. I think it was like 100 pages or something like that. This was 5-star. This is what I needed as well, guys. Like this, I've never read a novella more than 3-star before, but this is, wow. This is by JD Midnight, by the way, and Woods is my new book boyfriend, guys. I absolutely adore Woods. I love him. This is basically, this card gets passed around, and it's for people to basically call these 3 men up and say, like, I want to be kidnapped and want you to do the do to me. So they get like into this room, and then they have the best night of their life, I imagine. And if you're after like a smutty good time into like a 4-way technically, I suppose, then this definitely is for you. This was a really good like palette cleanser. Then we had Love and Other Killers by Bryn Weaver. This was a 3-star. It was like a little novella. I actually did read this and audiobook it at the same time, because it was free on Audible if you had like the Kindle Unlimited book. And Rowan's voice, I didn't do any of the Ruinish Love trilogies on audiobook, but Rowan, and obviously the brothers are all Irish, and Rowan's voice was just yum diddly scrumptious. And it was really like nostalgic, because you got to see the characters that I really loved and I haven't read for a while, so I got to see them like back in their habitat, and it was just cute. But yeah, it was just like a little filler type thing, I suppose. And then we had Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. So we went in with a new cowboy romance. This was 5 stars. My new favourite cowboy romance unlocked. This was everything I needed and more. It was so spicy. Like, if you love spice and love cowboys, this is definitely going to be for you. If you're not really like a spice reader, then I wouldn't recommend this, because the spice is like, the spice was spicy and the spice was giving. The gentleman, well, I love a cowboy because they're gentlemen, but they have filthy mouths. And this is brother's best friend as well, guys, which is my favourite trope. Cece comes back to the ranch, sees Nash Carter, and yeah, it sort of goes from there. They have a bit of like a tension type thing, decide to do like a one-night thing, doesn't turn into a one-night thing, obviously, and yeah, ate this up. Then we had Wicked Ends by Mila Kane. I actually DNF'd this. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember what this is about, guys. Okay, I think this was a professor-student type thing. I couldn't get into it. It was a reverse age gap, so the woman was the professor. And I'm not like a big fan of reverse age gap, so I just couldn't get into it. And yeah, so I just ended up DNF it, unfortunately. Then we had Compulsion by Julia Sykes. I got this one as like an ARC thing, but it was already out, but it was like on one of the ARC sites. But I actually DNF'd it at 38%. This man is a psychopath, really, really obsessed with this woman, doesn't know why, and sort of it goes from there. But at 38% I was really bored. I just wasn't having a good time. I was bored, I wasn't really sure what was going on, and I thought by 38% I should be into the story, and I wasn't, so unfortunately I just didn't read the rest. Then we had Echoes by Steph Macker. If you know, last month I audiobooked the first one, and then I did audiobook and read at the same time this one. My last one I think was a 4-star because of the audiobook. This was actually a 5-star. This was better. We got a lot more of the why choose this time, and it ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger as well. Quite a lot of a cliffhanger. I want to do the 3rd book, but my friend Jess has just done it, and she said like the cliffhanger is even worse than this one. Like not worse, like worse in a good way. And the new book's not out till like November, I think, so I might wait a little bit, I'm not sure. But this is like secret society in this like prison rehabilitation type centre thing, and it follows on from book 1. And we had Handsome Devil by LJ Shen. This is my favourite in the Forbidden Love series. This was 5-star. I am obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with this. Tate is the most unhinged man like I've met in a while. He has 0 morals, absolutely 0. This is like not forced marriage, but like a marriage of kind of forced marriage, but marriage of convenience type things. They're both getting something out of it. This man, like I said, has no morals. He is an absolute billionaire. When I say billionaire, like I mean billionaire. And he basically gets with Gia, who is his personal assistant, and then it goes from there. He has no morals, she has a lot of morals and wants to see the best in everybody. But yeah, I love this. And it's also got OCD rep, which I find when you find in a book it's very like blased over a lot, but this actually went in deep with it, and I really, really liked seeing that side of things. And also Tate was fucking hot as fuck, so there's that. Then we had Glove Self, which is the latest book in the Vancouver Storm series by Stephanie Archer, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out, for Coach's book. I cannot wait for that. I have been putting this off for a while because I kept seeing reviews about it, and basically people were saying that they couldn't get into it because the first half Alexei was like such a dick, and they were like, they just were fed up with him. This was 5 stars, by the way, guys. I loved this. So I went into this not thinking I would love it because of like the reviews I'd seen, and although Alexei was like a major dick for no reason, like it just, yeah, I mean there was a reason, but then there wasn't also a reason, but I ate it up. Like this was hatred, like hate. They hated each other kind of to lovers, and I ate this up. This is a hockey romance, and it's a marriage of convenience as well. So Alexei needs a marriage to be able to get like a green card, like citizenship basically in Canada, and Dr. Green, Georgia, needs to get married to get her inheritance, and yeah, it goes from there. And then finally we have Untamed Heart by Gemma Moore. I bought this book because how cute. It's a cowboy romance, it's got sprayed edge. Unfortunately I DNF'd it about 75% in. I had like 60 pages left, I think. It's a really, really short book. I just wasn't connected with the story. I wasn't having a fun time. It was a bit like, there was a lot of like swearing, and then obviously a bit of description around sexual scenes, but then it was almost like fade to black straight after, and it was just like, oh, because you thought you were getting something and then you weren't. And then also the start of this was very, very, very slow. We start off in London before we go to the ranch, and it was just very, very, very slow. I almost wasn't having a good time. And then it felt like they said they loved each other and had this like huge like love and connection type thing, and we'd only had like 3 encounters with them together. So I didn't feel connected to the story, I didn't feel connected to the characters, and I was going to persevere and do the last 60 pages, but I just wasn't having a good time. So I thought, why would I put myself through something I don't want to read, unfortunately, because I know this is like hit or miss. A lot of people loved it, some people didn't like it, and yeah, unfortunately it just wasn't for me. So that is it for my August reading wrap up. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Did you DNF any of these books? That's what I actually want to know. Like, did you DNF and why? Again, these are my opinions, guys. This is why I love reading, because everyone has such different opinions, and what I might love someone else might hate, and vice versa. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and you can follow me on BookTok and Bookstagram at tias_book_corner. Bit of a mouthful. And I will see you guys next time when I do my wrap up, and where I will put the book I'm reading today in there also.